spectacular season, and so it is the Ravens who are looking for revenge. Let's move on to the Packers and the Colts. Ninkovich, what are you looking for?
I want to see Aaron Rodgers not under duress. We saw in the Tampa game when he had some pressure on him, it was a struggle. And Devontae Adams being on the injury report does not help their case to win this football game against the Colts. So if they expect that the Packers want to continue to win and progress forward in this season, they have to protect Rodgers. That is number one in this football game.
And Devontae Adams, by the way, did not practice on Wednesday. Bart, Chiefs-Raiders rematch. What are you watching for?
I want to see the physicality, and I want to see what team can get the big explosive plays. The first game that they had, Henry Ruggs killed them with a 72-yard bomb. They were physical at the point of attack. They challenged these receivers, and it's going to have to be a shootout. I love this Raiders team. Al Davis will be proud.
Yeah, and this is actually an opportunity for them in a national spotlight game to prove they belong among the conversation with the big teams in the AFC. Meanwhile, in the NFC, the Saints have questions. With Drew Brees out with a multiple rib fracture and a collapsed lung, the Saints will go to either Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill or some combination of the two as they push to try and win that NFC South. And their first test will come this weekend against the Falcons. And Diana Rossini is as close to that team as anyone, and you'll be covering the game on Sunday. When will we know who the starting quarterback will be, Diana?
Yeah, we should know later today. And, Drew Brees coined the phrase Tamus back in training camp, basically, obviously, Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston here and the combination of that. And it's interesting that he gave them that nickname because that's what we're going to probably most likely see on Sunday. A combination of both of them. The Atlanta Falcons defense, they're preparing for Jameis Winston to get the traditional start at quarterback with a package that is going to, showcase Taysom Hill a lot. And, Sean Payton really revels in challenges like this. Greeny, I covered him last year when Teddy Bridgewater had to step in all 5 of those games that they won. And that was the most energized I'd actually ever seen Sean Payton over the last 5-6 years that I've covered the Saints pretty closely. He really likes the challenge of having to put together an offense with perhaps, his future Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees. So here's something else I know about this locker room. They step up when they need to do that. Alvin Kamara is saying this past week, too. They revel in the challenge like this. So in terms of what you can see at quarterback, you're going to see both these guys out there.
Okay, so that's something to keep an eye on there. Diana, stay with me here. We'll continue this in a moment, but I want to bring RC and Bart into the conversation, and Rob Ninkovich into the conversation. Yeah. Bart, what is your expectation with Jameis and Taysom getting some of the work, but let's just say, let's live in a world where we expect it to be mostly Jameis. Do you expect him to be able to limit the turnovers and play a similar style to what we saw from Teddy last year?
Well, this is why this is a dangerous game, Greeny, because the Atlanta Falcons know exactly what Jameis can and can't do traditionally because they've been within the division, so they had to prepare for him. So they're going to create situations where he's going to have to secure the football. You talk about a man last year that had 42 turnovers. Ball security is job security. But the problem that the Falcons, presents is the fact that they can go up and they can score in an instant. This is a team that can score points. Will that force Jameis back to his old habits and trying to push the ball down the field? And if he does, is it ball security and is it job security? Because not only does he turn the ball over through the air with interceptions, he also had 12 fumbles last year. And when we talk about taking shots down the field, it's going to put more pressure on that offensive line that's more accustomed to protecting Drew Brees, who gets the ball out extremely fast, Green.
And we did talk earlier, Seattle has a relatively easy schedule the next few weeks. So do the Saints. So, Bart, what do they need from whatever combination they use of Jameis and Taysom Hill in order to do what they did last year and win all their games without Brees?
I think that's for you, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
I think that they need to protect the football. And when you look at the things that Taysom can do, he's your change-up guy. He's your quarterback that comes in that really can run so many different gadget plays. And you better believe that Sean Payton has a bunch of gadget plays for Taysom to run. They expect Taysom to be the future. That's why they paid him what they paid him to be there this year. They want him to continue to develop. And I would expect them to rely on their defense, who's a very good defense this season. They're stopping the run better than anyone. Rely on the defense, rely on your special teams, and tell your quarterbacks, do not turn the football over. We're going to ride Kamara, and we're going to play defense. And and they will win these football games that way.
They should. Very quickly, do you expect Jameis to play, you can't say zero turnovers, right, but to look more like Drew Brees than he looks like the traditional Jameis?
I think he has to be originally himself, and that's pushing the ball down the field. But he has to understand when to eat the ball and understand that he hit the biggest weapon on their team is Alvin Kamara. It's okay to check the ball down and let your players do the work for you. He tries to do too much. He can't be eating W's that way. He'll be eating hot L's if he continues to turn the ball over. And this could be a pivotal point in his career because he could be auditioning to be the future quarterback for the Saints.
Or for some other team, depending on how things break. Okay, Diana, let me go back to you here, and let's run the hurry up as we look ahead to a couple of other notes around Week 11. And we start with Derrick Henry. What do we expect from him this weekend against the Ravens?
Well, he controlled the game against the Ravens last year, and they're going to need him to do that again. The Baltimore Ravens are number 1 in third down defense, and if they can't run the ball, that being the Titans, they are in a lot of trouble. We've seen the Ravens blitz, and it's worked to their advantage. But this is going to be this has to be one of those games where Derrick Henry is the centerpiece of this Titans offense. But guys, we've got plenty of injuries on both sides of the ball.
How about Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater. Okay, so this is a true day-to-day, Greeny. Talking to sources in Carolina, they says they're leaning on Teddy to be very honest with this training staff and with the coaching staff in letting them know how he actually feels. We know he's dealing with a very sore knee injury, and I talked to some sources too in the quarterback room, and they said there isn't a quarterback in that room right now who knows who's going to be the starter. So we're going to have to see and wait.
And then how about the situation with the Raiders and their COVID problems?
Yeah, this is unfortunate here for the Las Vegas Raiders. We've got 11 players on the defensive side of the ball right now who are quarantining, who cannot be around each other.